Nānyadanyat Prakaraṅam of Upadeṣa begins with the idea that am I a Jiva who is attempting to become Brahman, or am I already Brahman who, because of ignorance, feels that I am a Jiva, and therefore the process of sadhana is only to correct my misunderstanding, because of which I am thinking I am a Jiva. The popular idea that is very much prevalent in the world, that I am a Jiva and I want to become Brahman. In other words, I want to eliminate my finitude through sadhana, through some process. This is ekadeshiya matam. In our Shastras, there are some Purva Pakshis who have propounded this idea. And here Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji's objective is to show that there is no way a finite Jiva through some sadhana will become infinite. So we saw this in the last class. Now, if this is the objective, that I am already Brahman and I have to eliminate my finitude or notion of finitude, then what about the ideas of attaining purity through the scriptural sadhanas and meditation on Atma? Because these things are also talked about in Shastra, that I am impure right now, and through a process of sadhana I have to attain purity. And once I become pure, then I have to meditate on Atma, as it is said in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Atma va are drashtavyah, shrotavyah, mantavyah, nididhyasitavyah. So there is sadhana vidhi in nididhyasanam, that the means of knowing the truth are Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam. So how can this Nididhyasanam be possible if I am already that infinite Brahman? This is the question raised by the Purva Paksha. In response to that, the Acharya is presenting shloka number 2. Let us read. Smarato drishyate drishtam pate chitramivarpitam yatra yena cha tau jneyau sattva kshetrajna sanyakau. Yatra, there where Smarataha. Smarataha is the one who is remembering. Pumsaha, Purushaha, of that Purushaha. Smarataha Purushaha, Pumsaha. Drashtam. Drashtam means drishyam. Whatever is the drishyam for him is pate chitram iva arpitam. So Acharya uses the example of a canvas and a painting on the canvas to explain what is memory or recollection. Because Smarataha is the person who is recollecting. So for a recollecting person, the Drishya Vastu is like a painting on canvas. And this is how he experiences the recollection. Yena cha drishyate means is experienced. Yena cha tau jneyau. Yena, by which, that is, that becomes drishya. Yena cha drishyate. Yatra cha drishyate and yena cha drishyate. Yatra cha drishyate. Yatra drishyate means there where it is experienced. That locus, that is Antah karana. And yena cha drishyate, that by which it is experienced, by which it is experienced is the Sakshi, illuminator. Because memory is experienced only because of the presence of illumination of Sakshi. Tau sattva kshetrajna sanyakau jneyau. They should be known, they should be understood as jneyau. Means they should be known, understood as sattva sanyaka and kshetrajna sanyaka. So sattva sanyaka is there where it is experienced. Sattva means Antah karanam. There where it is experienced is named as sattva, Antah karanam. And there and that by which it is experienced, that by which it is illumined, is called kshetrajna, Sakshi, Atma. So in this way, in this shloka, Acharya is talking about Antah and Sakshi. Antah is the locus of experience and Sakshi is the illuminator of experiences. And in this shloka, what Acharya has done is, he has used the simile of memory. And in the previous chapter, if you remember, Smriti was equated to Swapna. The previous chapter was Swapna Smriti Prakaraṅam. So Swapna is equated to Smriti. And in this chapter, that Smriti and Swapna, they both will be equated to Jagrat, waking. In order to prove what is the objective of this? Objective is that this is a bigger picture. Objective is to understand that just as external objects like pot, cloth, etc., ghata, pata, they all are objects of experience. They are anatma. Earlier we have used the term remote anatma. In the same way, the physical body is also anatma. And physical body is a proximate anatma. Up to this, we have understood. Now, Acharya wants to tell the sincere sadhaka that what you call as Antah, this Antah itself is anatma. Just as an external pot, an external cloth, a tree or a table, anything is anatma, and therefore I cannot think of that anatma becoming atma. In the same way, physical body is also anatma and Antah is also anatma. So if a pot cannot become atma, if a cloth or a tree cannot become atma out of lot of meditation, Antah also cannot become atma, because Antah is as much anatma as all these other anatmas are. Therefore, if someone thinks that by process of meditation, I, the ahankara, which is anatma, will become atma, that is an erroneous thinking. It is anyat becoming anyat, something else, anatma becoming something else different from what it is, becoming atma. So that is not possible. That is what is being explained. In other words, Antah or mind's anatmatva has to be properly understood, and therefore that mind also should be kept at a distance from Atma Sakshi. That anatma is not me. Therefore, the ups and downs of that mind or failure and success of that mind are not mine. In this way, I should understand. And the example that is given in this shloka, what it explains is that when I recollect any past experienced object, then recollection is nothing but that past experienced object comes back in my Antah and appears there, as though giving me the thought that I am experiencing it again. But the difference is, when I experienced it for the first time, when the object was present, object was there outside and the experience took place. The recollection is in the absence of external object also, I am capable of producing the experience, reproducing the experience only based on vasana. But in both cases, the object of experience, whether external or internal, is like the painting, and Antah is the canvas on which this painting appears. And this painting and means what is projected and the canvas on which it is projected, both of them are illumined by consciousness, Sakshi, like Nataka Deepa, the theatre lamp, which illumines the stage and the dancer on the stage. So in this way, object, whether internal or external, and Antah, both of them are anatma. That is what is being said in this shloka. Then the question that was raised, that how will I do nididhyasanam? Or how can that instruction of Upanishad that Atma should be meditated upon be a valid instruction? Because the instrument which is meditating is mind. And if I have to meditate on Atma, so it will be Jiva meditating on Brahman, mind meditating on Atma. So the Acharya says that yes, the instruction is there in Upanishad that Atma should be meditated upon. But in which way Atma should be meditated upon? Not that I am a Jiva meditating on Atma, but I have to meditate in this way that I am not the Vachyartha of the word I, but I am only the Lakshyartha of the word I. In other words, in I, Aham, the conditionings of gross body, subtle body, causal body, and Chidabhasa, they are only appearances. They are not to be included in I. This meditation is what I have to do. This is called true Tvam Padartha Viveka, where I separate myself from the conditionings. This is the meditation. Not that Jivatma will become Brahman. I am already that Brahma in which by mistake I have added the conditionings, because of which I feel I am a Jivatma. So meditation is not to become Brahman. Meditation is to eliminate those errors because of which I think I am not Brahman. What is free from conditionings of the three bodies and Chidabhasa is already Brahman, which is otherwise known as Aham Pada Lakshyartha. So Aham is already Brahma. But when I don't do this Viveka of removing the conditionings which are belonging to Anatma, and I include them in Atma, in Aham, then I think that this conditioned Aham will one day become unconditioned Brahma. That is not possible. That is not what is meant by Nididhyasanam in Upanishad. The word Nididhyasanam is Dhyai Dhatu. You already know Dhyai is Chintayam, means to think. And what I have to think, what I have already understood correctly in my Shravanam, and what I have logically concluded in Mananam. So with the help of teacher and scriptures, what I have understood through Shravanam, with the help of logic, reasoning, what I have used to strengthen my understanding of Shravanam, that logical reasoning is the process of Mananam. That is what I have to understand, that this is already a fact. And in this fact, if there is any other kind of thinking that interferes, that anya bhavana, then that is what I have to eliminate. Because what is already not infinite, not immortal, can never become infinite or immortal. So in this way, the injunction of scripture also will become valid, and my infinitude also will be established through proper sadhana. So people generally do sadhana, but they do not understand what is that exactly I am supposed to do. So everyone meditates not knowing what is right kind of meditation. That is where the problem takes place. Now, Acharya in the next shloka says that this Antah karana, how it is available as an object, because pot and cloth, they are an object of experience available outside, but Antah karana also is an object. How is to be established? So he says in the next shloka, phalantam chanubhutam yad yutam kartradikarakaihi स्मर्यमाणं हि कर्मस्थं पूर्वं कर्मैव तच्चितः यत् कर्त्रादिकारकैः युतं, that which is yutam, associated with kartraadikarakaih, the auxiliaries of actions like karta, karma, karana, etc. And cha phalantam anubhutam, and also experienced until the phala of this action takes place, kriya. So you have to understand, karta, etc. are the auxiliaries of action, karakas they are called. Then there is kriya, action, because all the karakas together will accomplish some action, kriya, and this kriya will result in some phalam. So kriya karaka phalam, Bhagavan Bhashakar always uses this phrase, what is jagat or what is dvaitam, kriya karaka phala dvaitam, kriya karaka phalam jagat. Entire world is covered in these three phrases, kriya karaka phalam. So what is associated with karta, etc. as the auxiliaries of action, and experienced at the end of that action in the form of result, all of that is purvam hi smaryamanam karmastham. Indeed it was earlier, purvam means earlier, indeed he smaryamanam karmastham. It is recollected now, but it was experienced earlier, and earlier also it was experienced as an object, and now also it is recollected as an object. Karmastham means, here karma means an object of experience. So karma word in kartradi karaka, karta, karma, kriya, there karma means, there karma means object in the action. In the second line, karma means object of experience. So while the object was experienced during karta, karma, kriya, etc., when they were accomplished and the result was attained, at that time also all of this took place in the object called Antah. And while it is recollected, also everything is recollected at the level of Antah being the object of experience. So in both cases, Antah is an object of experience. Tat chitaha karma eva. That is chitaha of the consciousness, karma eva. If it is only an object, means it is an object of consciousness, it is object of Sakshi, Atma. Whether during the experience earlier or during recollection or during dream also, because dream and experience are more or less the same thing. When we are, that's why they say daydreaming. Either you can dream it during the night, so outside it is dark and your eyes are closed and you are projecting something, or you dream it with eyes open and outside it is broad daylight, still you are dreaming. And recollection of some experience of the past is also similar, because when you are recollecting also some past experience has taken place and you go through it, and the result of that phalantam it is given, the culmination of all of this is either sukham or dukham. If the experience is anukula, vishayanam anukulye sukham, and when it is pratikula, when it is non-conducive, then it is dukkham. Vishayanamanukulye sukhi dukhi viparyaye sukham dukkham cha tad dharma. Sukham and dukkham are the dharma of ahankara, sadanandasya natmanaha, not of the atma which is of the nature of sadananda, not yada kadananda. Sometimes it is happy, sometimes sad. That is not Atma. Sadananda Atma. So Antah is experienced or illumined by Sakshi, and in that Antah objects appear. So just as this happens during dream or during recollection of an object, smriti, so does it happens in waking state also. And this is said in Mandukya by Gaudapadacharya ji, yatha swapne dvaya bhasam spandate maya manaha tatha jagrat dvaya bhasam spandate maya manaha. Manaspandanam is there in swapna as well as in jagrat, and in that manaspandanam, the movement of the mind, experiences take place. Now what is that movement of the mind? That is further elaborated as consciousness alone appears as the mind first, and that mind based on different vasanas produces variety, and therefore each individual's experience is different of the world based on their vasanas, their karmas. But for all, one Atma alone appears as mind. That is true. Then of course there is a debate, where is that all coming from? But that we will not enter into right now. With this third shloka is complete. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.